Hi, thank you so much for joining me. So these are breathing techniques that are going to carry us through our self-isolation and also to uh, strengthen and prepare the body for COVID-19, as we do understand that it's a respiratory illness. So some of the things that we need to understand is what is the functioning of the lungs, first of all, and then how can I strengthen my lung capacity, and how can I minimize the amount of anxiety that I feel going into all of this. So hopefully these three techniques will walk you through that. I'll post more later. This is just an introduction and a start into this. So let's get started. So let's take a look at what do our lungs do. As we know, breath underlies every human activity. The importance of the respiratory system is to supply the body with oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. Um, Ventilation is the process of moving gas in and out of the lungs, and respiration involves moving into the lungs where it diffuses into the pulmonary circulation. So 60% of our lungs are at the back of our body. It's important for us to understand that. When we take a deep breath in, we feel the chest lift and rise, but we should also be feeling the back of the body opening and releasing. So that's why it's so important not only to breathe because we're stretching the body from the inside out, but also to twist and move the body, creating that skeletal muscle contraction that then is going to open up these pathways as well. And then the ability for the lungs to perform gas exchange depends on these four general physiological functions. And so the first one is that the diaphragm and the thoracic muscles must be capable of expanding the thorax and the lungs to produce the subatmospheric pressure that we need. The airways must be unobstructed to allow gas to flow into the lungs and reach the alveoli. And then the cardiovascular system must circulate the blood through the lungs to allow it to remove toxins and create nourishment. And then the oxygen, the carbon dioxide must be able to diffuse through that alveolar capillary membrane. So these are the four general physiological functions that take place through our lungs when we breathe. So let's take a deep breath here because we know that it calms the mind. And I want you to not let the science of breath um, overwhelm you. I want you to stop and realize that although the frenetic pace that we've lived life at up until this point has mostly been taken out of our hands, so now that we have this time to slow down and relax, I think we need to understand the importance of our breath. That not only is it affecting the physiological body, but it's also affecting the psychological body. So we know that various breath patterns have an important link to our nervous systems. And as we've discussed before, our breath is the gateway to activating our parasympathetic nervous system, otherwise known as our calming, our rest and digest. And so the next few exercises that we're going to move through are going to help us not only to stretch the body from the inside out to facilitate better breathing practice, but also to calm the nervous system and to give us an automatic reset. So let's get started. How many breaths do we take a day? So older children and adults from resting usually breathe about 12 to 20 times per minute. And over the course of a day, that adds up to 17,000, 30,000 breaths per day or more. These are just our average breathing rates for when we're at rest. So when we exercise or even walk around the house or school, our breathing rate goes up. So what does that tell us? It's a humbling thought and necessary to understanding how critical breathing is. I mean, above and beyond our simple life existence, every breath is important. So why don't we start taking care of each one and making the most of what we have? So let's become, or begin to become, more mindful as we breathe. So here's the first exercise. I want you to take a moment, find a comfortable position, And you don't need to see anything at this point. You just need to be able to hear my voice. So close your eyes and begin to notice your breath. So I love that Lee and Campbell wrote in Perfect Breathing that the first breath is the most significant transition in a human experience, the second only to dying. And from that moment forward, the breath holds great expectation and promise. The breath is the mechanism that carries us from the quiet safety comfort of the mother's womb into a world of light, sound, touch, taste, and smell. It ignites that first lungful of air, an engine that powers the body, thoughts, emotions, and accomplishments throughout life. It is the key process, our primary system, a core component that should be used at its utmost. So take a moment to notice right now the movement of your breath, the inhalation and exhalation. Where do you feel that the breath is smooth and easy? And where do you feel that the breath may be stuck, forced, or labored? And then take a moment to notice the movement of the diaphragm and the ribcage. And what do you feel as you breathe? How do you notice the movements of the muscles and the ribcage? And then let's take that to the next level. What emotions or thoughts arise? Can you mindfully pay attention to your breath? Take a moment to write down anything that came up during that process of attentive breath. And we're going to continue to move on. So there are 3 breathing techniques that we're going to move through today. The first one is just to regulate the quality of our breath. So we're going to do some diaphragmic breathing first. Then we'll be doing some equal ratio breathing, which just means that we will equally breathe in as we equally breathe out. And that's going to start to expand our ability to take a deep breath in, to start to equalize the breath. Calm the mind as well. And then we're going to move into B's breath, which is going to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system that I talked about before. And it's a great one for releasing and reducing some of the anxiety that you may be feeling in these times. And it's a great one to do together with a group. You'll see why when we get there. All right, so let's get started. So diaphragmatic breathing or deep breathing is breathing that is done by contracting the diaphragm. The diaphragm is that muscle that's located in between the rib cage and your abdominal organs, the thoracic cavity. So as air enters into the lungs, the chest does not rise and the belly expands during this type of breathing. And diaphragmatic breathing is also known scientifically as eupnea, which is a natural and relaxed form of breathing in all animals. And that occurs when they're in a state of relaxation and there's no clear or present danger of their environment. So we're going to get started and move through this one first. I'm going to get you to find a position that you're comfortable in. So we often say lying down, but you can stay seated if you'd like. And this is only going to take a few minutes. So the purpose here, finding a position that's comfortable to you, closing your eyes. The purpose is just the awareness of breath, as well as how your body feels in space. And I'll walk you through it. So beginning in a supine position or a seated position, I want you to bring your awareness to the body. Notice the breath coming in and the breath coming out. I want you to inhale, take a deep breath in, feel the chest rise, the rib cage open, and the belly expand. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel the belly pull down, the rib cage close. Perfect. So inhale in, feel the chest rise, the rib cage open, and the belly push out. And as you exhale, feel the belly pull down and in. It's as though the rib cage is zipping up and the collarbones soften. I want you to continue to move on that. I want you to bring awareness to your inhale through the nose, feeling the air passing through the nostrils and past the throat. Continue to breathe and notice how each inhale feels. Notice the expansion of the ribcage and the belly. Try to visualize the dome-shaped diaphragm as it contracts to actively pull air into the lungs. Maybe you can feel the compression of the abdominal organs. Try to take an even bigger inhale on your next breath. Notice how that felt, and especially if any tension was created and where you held it. And then bring your attention to your exhale. First, notice the passiveness of the exhale. The torso sinks back toward the floor like a balloon deflating. The diaphragm is relaxing and moving into its umbrella-like position under the ribcage. Notice your body as we actively inhale and passively exhale. On the next exhale, gently engage your abdominals to help press the air out of the lungs. Notice where the breath goes here, into the nostrils, the upper respiratory tract, down through the larynx, the trachea, and into the lungs, into the lower respiratory tract, where the gas exchange takes place in the alveoli. There are anywhere from 300 to 800 million alveoli in our lungs, where the blood is exchanging carbon dioxide for oxygen to take and circulate throughout the body. So over the next several breaths, I want you to reflect on this mechanical and wonderful gas exchange and all of the muscles involved in the movement, most of the time without our notice. What emotions or thoughts arise as you pay attention, not only to this process of breathing, but also to the physical and emotional feelings. And continue to breathe. Good. And then begin to wiggle fingers and toes, slowly coming back to wakefulness. And take a moment to mark down how you feel. And we're going to move on. So the next one is our equal ratio breath. So gradually, just once out of every 3 or 4 cycles, we're going to add another count to each inhalation and each exhalation until you reach a number that suits you. So the yogis call this equal ratio breathing. And for depression, the effect of the breath on your mood is the best indicator of how long you should continue the exercise. So we typically say that we start at 4 counting to 4. And we pause at the end, and we pause at the end of the exhale. The most important thing is that with all the breath techniques I'm showing you today, there is no breath retention. So these are safe to do. But again, check with your family physician or medical professional if you feel anything that you're unsure about. All right, so on this equal ratio breath, I'm going to give you a few different things to focus on. So again, find a position that feels comfortable for you. And you can close your eyes, and I'll walk you through. So first of all, I want you to relax your jaw. Soften your cheeks. And let your lips open slightly. Perfect. We're going to inhale and exhale. And try that again. Inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to count you through. So you're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1, and pause. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1, and pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, and we're going to change it this time. Pause. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, and then I want you to relax after the pause to exhale for 4, 3, 2, and do that again. Inhale 4, 3, 2, and pause. Relax. Exhale 4, 3, 2, and one more time. Inhale 4, 3, 2, and pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, and pause. And then just move into an easy inhale and exhale. And take a moment to write down how that makes you feel. So remember, as you move through it on your own, you can gradually, after every 3 or 4 cycles, add one more count until you reach the number that fits you best. Now, you shouldn't feel like you're straining or holding your breath until you're trying to get there. It should feel easy and relaxed. But over time, it will grow to be a longer count. So let's move on to our last breath technique. Ease breath. This is the one that's actually fun. I'm going to teach you an easy variation of it. So the longer you sustain the humming exhalation, the more relaxing the breath is likely to be. But forcing the breath beyond your capacity can have the reverse effect, causing even more stress. So you don't want to force this. You don't want to force any breathing technique. You're simply moving in the way that's best for you. Over time, with anything, like with anything that you would do, it will increase. But this one is a fun one to do in groups. So you're going to inhale as long as you can, and as you exhale, you're going to hum. And that humming sound is going to create a vibration on the inside. I'm going to get you to put your fingers inside your ears, so closing the ear off like you would if you were trying not to hear something when you do the hum. And that'll create a vibration in those intercavities. We know that behind our nose and our eyes is one big kind of open conch shell. There's some deviations and variations through it, but it's mainly just open sinus and space. So when we create this vibration, we're actually clearing our sinuses, we're giving our brain a little bit of a vibration, moving things through, and we're creating a sensation of relaxation in the body. So I'm going to do it 3 times. You can do it with me if you'd like. The second 2, I won't plug my ears. So we'll go through this together. So we're going to inhale, take a deep breath in. You can watch me if you'd like. And then exhale. And then just an easy inhale and exhale. This one is the most fun. I recommend that you do it with the group of people that you're in your home with right now. It's a great stress reliever. So, thank you for joining me. I am going to post more. This is just an introduction and a beginning to get started, but I am going to give you more exercises for increasing that lung capacity and also for releasing some of the anxiety that you might be feeling. Remember, we're not in this alone.